I do not essay happiness well, I never have. I've always likened my life to brushing out your hair in the back of a convertible while it's going along the length of a coast about 100 miles an hour. Combing out the knots and the tangles just to throw your hair in the wind for it to get all caught up again. I don't write happy well, I never have. The words that blot out of my pen often weave themselves into blankets and cloaks of melancholy, of bottom of the pit hopelessness. You know, when doubt poses danger, when you pose danger. The kind of love that makes you feel like you're at the doorstep and you've been ringing the bell for far too long. Reaching out for a hand to take yours, but it only ever results in a series of near misses of everything that could possibly be incomplete, including you. Nothing as dramatic as waking up at 5 in the morning in a puddle of tears, but you know the kind of a hollowness you feel when you feel like you're being pulled in 100 different directions just because there's somebody that you couldn't possibly not follow. Until the day you can't, and until the day you won't, until the day you decide to tread a different path, until the day you decide to be different. And I know this is cheesy, but today I decided to be different. So when I told him I loved him, I also said it was a promise. I wanted to tell him that I had every reason to believe that I shouldn't believe, but I hope my promise would be enough for him to make me one. I wanted to tell him that my promise was meant for so many but made only to him, and I wanted to tell him that my promise was too tangible to be just poetry. So I weaved it into the air I breathed and into every time skin touched skin, and I weaved it into my hair, and that he would find it exactly there, locked up in my locks with the key to my heart. I wanted to tell him all this, tell him what he was responsible for, and that with this responsibility came the ability to break my heart. And I know this is cheesy, but if it came down to it, I would let him. But when we held hands, I realized that he never led me anywhere, just offered me an anchor, steadying me, leaving it up to me to decide where I wanted to go and if I wanted to go there now. And when I held his hands, I realized that both of mine fit into the fold of his palm, and for the first time in a very long time, they looked like they were worthy of that shelter. You see, in everyone I have ever tried to love before, I have looked for adventure, never comfort, and that it doesn't always have to be that way. That there is a kind of love that involves sitting in the middle of your living room, wolfing down the entire box of pizza that you've been craving instead of a wild trip to Goa. That there is a kind of love that comes only when it deems fit, and that you don't have to go looking for it because most of the times it is like the school bus turning on the corner. Always there, every day, and never more than a few minutes late. The kind of love that I don't have to put thought into showing and never worry about seeing. Sometimes my best friend, and sometimes at best a stranger. And I know this is cheesy, but come on, love is like cheese. For starters, it goes really well with wine. You know, sometimes it is just the most honest reflection of what's inside that will make your heart feel full again.
To like, subscribe and follow us, just press some of these buttons. I don't know why people keep pointing. You are educated and you can read. So just read it and do the needful. Please, we're a startup, we need your love.